Mathematicians. This week's or today's assignment is all about factors again, and we're trying to find the greatest common factor between two numbers. If you remember our work from yesterday, factors have to have factor pair. So usually you'll have an even number of factors. Sometimes you'll have an odd number of factors, but it's really an even. It's super confusing. I promise I'll explain. So what you first need to do to find the greatest common factor is find the factor of each of the numbers that we're trying to find. So we're pretending like the 14 and the 4 are our denominators, and we're trying to simplify them down to our greatest common factor, or try to figure out what the greatest common factor is. So what you need to do is either use the pen in Kami or the text box. I personally like the text box. So what we're going to do is try to find factors of 14 first. So remember, you can always start with 1 and the number. So 1, and I'm going to put 14 on the end just because I like to keep my numbers in numerical order. So 1 times 14 is 14. There's two more numbers that we can multiply together to get to 14. And since 14 is an even number, I know that we can multiply it by 2. 2 times 7 is 14. So those are the factors of 14. 1, 2, 7, and 14. Now the factor pairs for those I will do in a different color are 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. Okay. Factors of 4 are, you can always start with 1 and the number. And that's always going to be the first number and the last number. It's always going to be the smallest number and the biggest number whenever you multiply those two together. None of these are prime, I don't think. So, no. Oh, actually 3. We have a 3 down here, which is prime. So they're only going to have the 1 and the 3. What other two numbers can we multiply by to get to 4? Wait a second, there's only one more line. What do we do? Well, I think you know what that number is. It's 2 times 2. But when we write it as when we write the factors down, you don't have to write the 2 twice. You just write it one time since it's the same number. So when I look at my factor pairs, 1 times 4, and then just 2 times 2. So the greatest common factor of 14 and 4 is you look for the number that comes, the largest number that we see that's the same number. And in this case, the only number, well, we'll always have the 1 as the same, right? But in this case, the 2 is our greatest common factor. It's the number that shows up that's the same, and it's the biggest number. So over here in my answers, I'm going to write the number 2. Okay? So the greatest common factor is the number that's the largest number, that's the number that matches. Okay? So I'm going to do the next one here, 28 and 42. Factors of 28. Let's start with, of course, 1 and 28. All right, so we have 1, 2, so we have 2 more factor pairs because I have 4 numbers left. So I know I'm going to be matching 2 more numbers. All right, well, 28 is an even number, so I know that will multiply by 2. And 2 times what? What's half of 28? Well, half of 2 is 1. Half of 8 is 4, so 14. 2 times 14. All right, there's one more factor pair. Does anybody know it? Well, I know Mr. Mac knows this one. If I double the 2, I get 4. If I half the 14, I get 7. 4 times 7. So there's my factor pairs. I'm going to show you those factor pairs using my drawing number here again. So 1 times 28. Ooh, look at that. 7 turned into a purple. 2 times 14 and 4 times 7. Those are my factor pairs. All right, let's see what we can do with 42. So we're going to start with 1 and 42, of course. All right, and I know 42 is an even number, so I can go, can I copy that? No, it's kind of hard here with the number right above it. Sorry about that. 2 and half of 42 is 21, so 2 times 21. All right, how about, what's another one? Can I do 3 is 42 divided by, did you know that we can do 3? This is going to be an issue for everybody, I think. I'm sorry. Just try your best. You might have to make the font a little smaller. 3 times 14 is 42. And I can show you that real quick. Let's try 14. Sorry for my clicking. 14 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry my 1. 3 times 1 is plus 1 is 42. There we go. 14 times 3. And we have one more. Sorry about that. Sorry about the dogs. I have 6. Yep, that was my wife, Mary Ann. 6 times, and my dogs. 6 times 7 is also 42. So, thank you. When I look now, I notice, let's see, what numbers do I have that are the same? I have 1 and 1, 2 and 2, and 3. Ooh, 7 and 7. Here, I'm going to circle some of those real quick. Let's do it with yellow. So we have the common factors are 1, 2, 7, and look, 14. Okay. So that it? That looks like to be it. So what's the biggest number that pops up for both 28 and 42? It is 14. So I'm going to write in the answer box up here, 14. Okay. All right. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to find the factors for each of these numbers and then figure out which is the greatest common one, which is the biggest one that they both show up with. Okay. All right. Have fun today.